Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
We saw two of the best hitters in the game last night. Michael Brantley had 2 hits for the Indians, and league-leading hitter Jose Altuve had 3 for the Astros. Tonight, we'll see one of the game's best on the mound, Corey Kluber, having a historic season for the Tribe. And we'll even see one wacky mascot for Houston. What will we see tonight? Find out next on Sports Time Ohio. From Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, it's Cleveland Indians baseball tonight. Game 2 of a 4-game series between the Tribe and the Houston Astros. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Tribe will send Corey Kluber to the mound tonight. And Corey Kluber is in the midst of an incredible season for the Tribe. He needs 16 strikeouts. He's got 3 more starts left, including tonight, to move into the top 10 in Indian single-season strikeouts, with Bob Feller holding that number 10 spot at 246.
Well, he has been so much fun to watch all year long. He's so aggressive. He goes out, he pounds the strike zone. 18 times he has 8 strikeouts or more, and he just continues to go out there. He doesn't like to walk guys. He's been very aggressive. He's in the Cy Young voting. I guarantee he's going to garner a lot of votes, but you can see 5th and tied for 5th in wins, 4th in ERA, innings pitched. He has just been so much fun to watch. 230 strikeouts. That's the most since 73 in Gaylord Perry. So you're going back a ways to look at some of the greats.
We know he's got a tremendous fastball. He's got an excellent cutter, and that slider has been his put-away pitch this year. But how does he throw those pitches? Well, come on back. Katie Witham visits with Corey Kluber to let us in on the secret. McDonald's, I'm loving it. By your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. By Panini's. Get overstuffed at Panini's Bar and Grill. And by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. All right, back here in Houston at Minute Maid Park, getting ready for Game 2 of our 4-game series between Cleveland and Houston. And Corey Kluber looking for his 16th win of the season. Already a career-high 231 strikeouts in his 31 starts this year. He's getting loose in the bullpen. Let's go downstairs to Katie Witham, who caught up with Corey recently and has the inside scoop on how he struck all those batters out this year.
Well, it's been that breaking ball, Matt. When you look at some of the numbers, that breaking ball for Corey Kluber ranks 4th best in all of baseball among starters, both this year and last year. Now, it looks like a fastball coming out of his hands, but the speed and the break is what makes it exceptional. Corey Kluber earlier showed me exactly how he throws that breaking ball in our Hear Right Audiology Sounds of the Game.
Some guys will, like, you know, they get to there and then they'll try to turn it to do it or whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of, if that's my fastball, the breaking ball, just kind of, I get on the side of it a little bit and pull down a little bit harder. And that's, you know, whatever the difference is from there to there is what makes it from a fastball or a breaking ball.
Interesting, in that fastball he was showing us, that was a two-seam grip.
Yes, it was. But you know what? It's not that much of a change in his finger grip. But, boy, this the break just unbelievably late and sharp, and it goes down. It's one of the toughest sliders to hit in the league, without a doubt. He throws the cutter as well, which it moves so well. But his four-seamer, the two-seam fastball that he lets start at the hip to come back, and then that breaking ball, it's devastating. But he can control everything he throws, and that's what makes him so fun.
And it's devastating because his ability to use that four-seam fastball to dot, get ahead,
right,
and then put you away.
And then he expands his zone because he's ahead in the count, 0-2, 1-2.
All right, it's Corey Kluber going for win 16, trying to stop an Indians 4-game losing streak. The play-by-play is coming up next. By your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. By the Cleveland Clinic. Call today for an appointment today. And by the Northeast Ohio Ford dealers. And welcome into the Astrodome, where we are ready for baseball now. Nick Tropiano and the Houston Astros have taken the field. And let's have a look at the starting lineup for Cleveland. It's brought to you by Progressive. Michael Bourne leading it off, followed by Jose Ramirez. Michael Brantley batting third. Then it's Carlos Santana, Jason Kipnis, and Lonnie Chisenhall. Yan Gomes, Jason Giambi, and David Murphy batting ninth.
Our GMC starting pitcher of the game, Nick Tropiano. He is making his second major league start. His last one came against the Seattle Mariners. He was like a 5-and-fly guy. He went 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. He ended up beating the Mariners, though. And Hisashi Iwakuma was the pitcher that he beat. First time he's faced the Indians. This guy, nothing overpowering. He's got a fastball, a little slider, the changeup as well. I think the key is he going to be able to pitch the left-handers of the Cleveland Indians inside, or will they be able to cut the plate in half and look away? They say, from our scouting report, he has a tough time pitching lefties in. We'll see that tonight. Let's check out the Kia defense behind him this evening. It looks like this. Grossman is in left field. Fowler is in center. Presley in right. Petit is at third. Gonzalez at short. Altuve at second. Singleton at first. Stasi behind the plate.
Umpiring crew. Angel Hernandez calling the balls and strikes. Paul Nart at first. Victor Pazza at second. Larry Vanover, your crew chief, down at third. Jeff says that I said welcome to the Astrodome when we came on the air. I'm stuck in a time warp.
Well, it's a dome. You're right.
Well, the Indians' road woes continue here at Minute Maid Park tonight. They haven't won on the road trip. They haven't won all year on the road. 31-43. The Indians' record on the road this year.
Look at that, though. 35 hits in the 4 games and 14 coming with 2 out and nobody on, which all 7 of them last night. They were that way. So they're going to have to try and get something started early, get Kluber a lead like they did in his last start, and he was able to cruise in that ball game.
Michael Bourne leading off for Cleveland, and the pitch is up and away for ball 1. Pitch outside. Count quickly 2-0 for Michael Bourne. The former Astro went 1 for 4 last night with a run scored. It came in the first. It was the only run of the night for Cleveland. To left field, coming in hard. Robbie Grossman can't get there. Drops for a base hit. And the Indians had their leadoff man aboard.
Well, he had a 2-0 count, and there's a pitch down and in a little bit. But he flares it the other way, keeps it fair, starts it off with a base hit. So we're breaking the string. They're going to get a man on first without 2 outs.
How about that? Different way of going about business. Here's Jose Ramirez, 0 for 3 last night. And taking a called strike. Last night, Bourne reached on the air and went to second base on that play, and then Ramirez laid down a sacrifice bunt to get Bourne to third base. And Jose fooled that time. Out in front, way out in front. It's 0-2. Way off the mark. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tropiano looked back at the pitching rubber when he delivered that ball. Maybe lost his toe hold. The 1-2. A little bit low.
Well, he was able to lay off that changeup.
Hey, make a pitch right here, Trope. Come on. Here we go.
And Ramirez is swinging a foul tip, held onto by Stasi, 1 away. Our great clip of the game from last night. Michael Brantley with 2 more hits, raising his batting average up to .322. One of those hits was a double, his 40th on the year. And Brantley continuing to put his name right up there among the best in the American League this year. He's 5th in batting average. 40 doubles have him tied for 3rd in that category.
Well, we talked about Altuve having another multi-hit game, 63. Well, Michael Brantley got his 53rd yesterday as well. Well, those two guys, I'll tell you what, those hit machines. 1 and 2 in the league in hits.
Yeah, Altuve with 209, Brantley second with 182. That's quite a gap.
I want to see Michael get to 200 hits. That's a huge milestone, I think, when you're a hitter. If you can get to 200 hits, it shows your consistency. You're playing every day. You rarely have slumps. And this guy has had hitting streaks, about 9 times of 6 or more. He has been so solid.
Just off the outside corner. And it's 2-1. Michael currently with a 6-game hitting streak. And he's gone 11 for 22. Hits it in the hole with the shortstop running towards second base. And Bourne goes all the way to 3rd.
Well done. And I'll tell you, the shortstop Gonzalez gave way. He gave ground at short, and Brantley just slapped it the other way. He was trying to decoy Michael Bourne, but he peeked back. He knew where the ball was, and he was able to get all the way to 3rd base. So job well done by Brantley. Hitting the hole that was vacated, 1st and 3rd now with 1 out.
Last night it was Carlos Santana that drove in the Indians' only run with a 2-out RBI hit in the 1st. Santana has hit in 3 consecutive games. But more importantly, for a guy batting in the middle of the lineup, he has 19 runs batted in his last 18 games played. Astros shift 3 to the right side. Santana takes low and inside, ball 1. They keep the 3rd baseman Petit over there with Bourne. Everybody else over on the right side. Out of play. And the count evens a 1-1. Brantley able to get back with a dive. Nick Tropiano was a 5th-round pick of the Astros back in June of 2011. New York native. Pitched at Stony Brook University in New York. Deep and fouled on the right side, out in front of it.
Changeup he leaves up in the zone. He better get that changeup down. He's not overpowering, and so far the slider seems like it goes straight down. But you haven't seen many pitches inside to the left-handers.
Hit the first, and it gets by Singleton. Altuve with a diving stop, and the pitcher Tropiano gets over to cover. So Santana is retired for out number 2, but he picks up RBI number 81, and the Indians for the 2nd night in a row score in the 1st inning.
I got to tell you, Altuve made a play last night on Chisenhall diving out to the infield. This one is going the other way. So he has shown us range going to his right, going to his left. This guy may not be very tall in stature, but I'll tell you what, he can play the game of baseball. That's a nice play.
That's where the shift takes the hit away from Santana, because normally without the shift on, Altuve is probably another step or 2 towards second base, and he can't get there to make that play.
That is correct.
Jason Kipnis last night 1 for 4.
Come on, Nick. Come on now. Come on, kid.
Kipnis once again batting in the 5-hole, where he's batted .269. This is his 31st game in that number 5 spot. Swing and a miss, 1-2 the count. Nick Tropiano just a couple of weeks ago turned 24 years old. Birthday on August the 27th. Singleton has it, slips, flips, and the inning is over. But the Indians get on the board first. A couple of hits and an RBI ground out, 1-0 try. Astros coming to bat. For the Houston Astros, here's his starting lineup tonight, brought to you by Toyota. Robbie Grossman, Jose Altuve, and Dexter Fowler at the top. Then it's Chris Carter, Marwin Gonzalez, and John Singleton. Max Stassi, Alex Presley, and Gregorio Petit.
GMC starting pitcher Corey Kluber making his 32nd start this year. He is 15-9, has 2 consecutive wins, both of them very good ball games against the White Sox, complete game. And coming against Minnesota, 8 1/3 innings. If you remember back last year, he came in, Corey did. He's 2-0 in his career against Houston, but he came in here in one ball game and pitched 4 innings and 2 hits and ended up going into the rotation. Came in out of the bullpen here for Scott Kazmir.
Corey Kluber into the wide, and the first pitch to Grossman is up and away for ball 1. Grossman last night 1 for 4 with a double and a run scored. And it's out of play.